be joined by Curt Lawson, the Public Information Officer in West Bloomfield and the Deputy Chief. And Officer Lawson, thank you for joining us on the Megacast again.
It's great to be here again today.
Well, hey, thank you for being here. I want to let you know, I don't know if our team told you, but we are expanding our reach a little bit. We are on another radio station, 88.1 WBFH, the Biff in Bloomfield Hills. So we're creeping a little bit beyond the boundaries of West Bloomfield, Kego, Sylvan Lake, and our Lakes FM coverage area. So you probably talked to some of the law enforcement folks in Bloomfield Hills, Bloomfield Township, and Birmingham and that area. And I imagine all you guys keep in touch, huh?
Oh, we do. We not only with our local police chiefs and fire chiefs, but at the county level with the Emergency Operations Center. We even talk to people from the state. And certainly we're talking to different hospitals in the area to get their status as well.
Well, and that's certainly the big news of the day. We're just seeing the corona numbers grow much, I think much quicker than any of us really thought, in all honesty. And then Oakland County comes out with a very informative website that you go to, and I'll just put it on the screen here. I think I've got it. We'll get to it in a minute, but you can go to the Oakland County website, put in your own zip code, and find out exactly how many people are affected by the coronavirus, and that's been a real eye-opener for us the last couple of days.
And remember, those are only the individuals that have been tested. And because there's such a lack, or has been such a lack of test kits, we believe that those numbers are much bigger.
Well, and that's what we've heard from our fire chiefs, too, last couple of days. They say the numbers are bigger. And then I ask them, well, will you be able to respond as this thing grows? And they say, yeah, we think we'll be able to respond. The question is, will there be the medical facilities to transport people to? And I think that's the big question mark from their perspective. What are your thoughts?
I totally agree. I think as far as public safety here in West Bloomfield, we're in really good shape. We've managed to keep our workforce, both in the police and fire, very healthy. We've taken a lot of stringent steps within our facility to make sure there's a lot of hand washing and checkpoints, and we're taking temperatures. We don't want to ensure that we have a healthy workforce so we can go out in the community and provide medical response. Now, the question becomes, where do we take those people? And there's an ebb and flow of how many patients are at our different hospitals locally. But once those reach capacity, which we believe at some point they will, where do we send those patients from there?
Yeah, well, that is a big question mark. A lot of discussion going on. This will not be a new conversation for you or for our listeners, but we're seeing conversation about some other facilities maybe being added here in Oakland County and right in our backyard. And then the possibility, we talked to folks at Henry Ford, they said maybe even shipping some people off to some of the other Henry Ford hospitals around the state. I'm sure you're hearing similar conversations, Curt Lawson.
Well, that's correct. And, it's great that they are kind of upstaffing or building these other temporary facilities. It's just we have to actually staff those with medical personnel. And where do we get those medical personnel from? We get those from other states that haven't been hit as hard as the greater metro area here in Detroit. Those questions, I think, are still not quite answered yet, but certainly it's on everyone's radar.
Well, no question about it. I heard the governor talking on another radio show, WJR this morning, as a matter of fact, saying we need retired medical practitioners to think about coming back and giving us a helping hand.
I think that's a great idea. But, the most important thing, once we have people come back, and that I know there's a ton of people out there that want to assist. They want to come out of retirement. We have students that are in universities that want to come help, but we have to make sure that we have the personal protection equipment to keep them safe when we're putting them into these facilities that have been overrun or soon to be overrun by COVID-19.
Yeah, well, and hopefully that's getting better. You're on the inside, you're on the conference calls. Do you see our supply network getting better or worse right now?
Well, at this point, I'll only speak for right here in West Bloomfield, and we are in pretty good shape. We certainly have let our voices been heard as far as that we need this personal protection gear, and we're reaching out to a number of different sources to obtain those personal protection pieces of equipment. So we're doing rather well right now, but we've been reaching out and using our contacts in the private industry as well to see what we can get for some different sources that we've never used before, and we've had some pretty good luck.
Is that what's happening, too, in the other municipalities? We hear the governor, poking at the federal government. This should all be coming from you. We should be able to get what we need, but we have to go out on the open market, and we end up competing with other states to get what we need. Are you competing with, like, Bloomfield Township and Waterford and White Lake and other folks around here to get what you want, or is it working out pretty well? And we would understand if you were. I mean, your job is to take care of the people in West Bloomfield. Their job's to take care of the people in White Lake. I get it. But how's that working?
We're doing our best to take care of our residents here,
Okay.
and we're using all of our resources and contacts to make sure we have the proper equipment to get the job done.
So do you guys have conference calls? I think you said this already. You're talking to the other municipalities around here, talking to the county. Can you just put our minds at ease that and we know you're doing a good job here in West Bloomfield, and I know the other communities are too, but this is a big matter for us here in the county. In the county, you take a look county-wide, our numbers are big. They're amongst some of the bigger numbers in the country. And certainly from a statewide standpoint, Oakland, Wayne, Macomb, we have the biggest numbers in the state. So are we doing all we can to work together with everybody to make sure that we're making this happen as a team?
Certainly, I can say from all the conference calls that I've been on, all the conversations of all the different stakeholders within the different communities, we are certainly working well together. And I can say here in West Bloomfield, we were one of the first townships in all of Oakland County to stand up an emergency operations center where we brought all of our partners within the community together to work as a team. We've been able to coordinate our services, and I think we're really ahead of the game than most communities throughout the county. And I think some of the higher numbers that we're seeing could very well be that we were one of the first to be tracking and reporting the numbers. But I honestly believe that the numbers that are being reported are low as far as who has the COVID-19 because of the lack of testing and to a certain extent the lack of reporting that's going on.
Well, hopefully we're going to get out of this thing sooner rather than later. Looks like the schools are done for the year. A lot of people now are saying, well, the president very optimistically said Easter. Most of us think that was probably a sales pitch, not to pick on him and not to get political, but we'd all like to be out by Easter. But now it's looking like April, maybe May, more likely summertime, possibly. We've not seen the curve flatten at all. Our numbers continue to grow, and I imagine that's what we'll see here in the coming days. Any thoughts on that?
I can say that talking to the men and women at our EOC, that the numbers are following their projections. We don't believe that we're going to see our peak here in West Bloomfield for another couple of weeks. But the good part of this whole scenario is, like I said earlier, our staffing, we're relatively healthy. So we're going to be able to take on the increased amount of medical runs. We've seen a 30% increase in medical runs over the past week. Our fire department has done a fantastic job responding to the needs of our residents, and I don't see any reason why we won't continue to do that.
All right, and my guess is pretty similar story across most of Oakland County. We can only hope, but we hope we have a pretty similar story, that we're as prepared as we can, and we have a ways to go before we get to the peak. Curt Lawson, Public Information Officer in West Bloomfield. Good to hear that you're okay and your team is okay. I know you had a little scare. You thought that you might be a victim of the coronavirus and you had to go get tested and isolate. How did that whole process go, and how are you doing now?
So there was some concern there. Certainly about a week and a half ago, I was not feeling well, feeling extremely tired, and I started to have some symptoms that were consistent with COVID-19. So I did. I wanted to lead by example. I want to model our behavior, and that's what we're doing in public safety. We're modeling our behavior. So I went home. I isolated myself in the lower level. Ended up going to Henry Ford Hospital to get tested, and I just got the test results today, and I'm back at work, is that I was negative. So I'm glad to hear that. Unfortunately, there's a lot of individuals within our community that are coming back positive. And just remember that if you're showing symptoms, don't just show up to the hospital. We want you to call your medical provider. And if you need emergency assistance, don't be afraid to call 911.
Well, I'm glad you're doing okay, because I think you're the only other person other than Tyler and myself who has been in this radio studio. We got our building locked down, and we didn't lock it down the day that you were here, but the minute you left, it was like locked down. We're trying to follow the rules here. We're essential broadcasters, right? Essential communicators, but we're still trying to keep ourselves isolated, and we don't want anybody else in the building. And then news goes around here, and Tyler says, "Hey, Lawson's sick. You know, he had to go get a test." And now we're all going, "Well, you know, I didn't feel too good." And you know, and it gets kind of the point of the whole thing. We've all talked that. You know, and even this morning when I got up, I had like a little sniffle, and then I got like, you know, a little pain, and I was all worried about it. And then I remembered that I'm 61 years old, and that's what happens when you're 61. So it's hard to keep your head straight right now and decide whether or not you got something to worry about. Those that I've talked to that have gone through this have said, once you get into the thick of it, you will know what you got.
Yeah, there's certainly a level of anxiety that's been raised a bit here. So, you know, I'm fortunate that I didn't get it, but I'm still taking all the precautions. I've locked myself in my office here, and this is where I'm going to stay. So, you know, we just encourage our community, keep doing what you're doing, and they're doing an absolutely great job. Is stay home, only venture out if you need a prescription or you need to go to the grocery store, and just use all of those precautions that we've been advertising on the township website and through the police department Facebook, because that's what's going to keep you safe. And we're going to get through this. It may take, like you said, to May or June, and it's going to take a lot of patience on everyone's part, but just do us all a favor. We're in this together. Everyone stay home.
All right, very good. Send our regards to Chief Patton. I know he's so busy. He's doing okay, I presume. You're not isolating him from us because he's sick or anything, are you?
No, him and I stay away from each other, though, because we both can't be sick, and
right.
We're doing a lot of calling from office to office. But he's doing rather well, but he is working a lot of hours like the rest of the department heads and our township trustees, and certainly Supervisor Kaplan. It's not 5 days a week that they're working. They're working 7 days a week at this point.
No, we get it. And we look forward to continuing to have some dialogue with you. You guys are doing a really good job keeping the community informed. And as we expand the MegaCast a little bit, we're not going to get so big that we're not promoting and communicating what's happening here in our local communities. But, you know, we've had some phone calls and folks said, hey, what you're doing is pretty cool. It would be helpful if we could expand that to a little bit bigger area. So we're working on that. So as you talk to the other law enforcement officials that you dialogue with, just let them know that Dave Scott's not going to ask them any really difficult questions or be, well, a pain or any of that kind of stuff. And we look forward to talking to your colleagues around the county and getting additional information that impacts people right in their own communities. So if you can spread the word, we appreciate it. Anything else before we have to say so
Anything
long?
I can do for you, we can make that happen. We can get you a whole bunch of contacts. So
All right. Very good. And thanks again. Every time we're on the police department's Facebook page, our numbers go through the roof. So thank you. You guys are doing a good job with your Facebook page, communicating out.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
And if you get a chance, take a look at our website. We have a ton of information. I've got like 3 or 4 people working on our website virtually 24/7 to get the latest coronavirus information out there. So that's how good. Anything we can do, let us know, Curt Lawson.
You got it. Have a great day.
Okay. He is the public information officer from West Bloomfield and the deputy chief of the West Bloomfield Police Department. And for those of you that have not had an opportunity to meet him in other communities, Tyler, he's a great guy.